Okay, how's that doing? Let's see. 1, 2, 3. It's getting better. That's pretty good. Okay. Somebody send me a message if they can see my lips moving incorrectly. Okay. Thank you. Let's put this one. Okay, lips moving. Someone said, I'm getting a message that my messages are being checked by mods. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. There's something about mods that are in the way of them receiving messages. Okay. Um, Doug, I'm going to pray for Doug and for Charmaine and everybody. Okay. Let's pray. Thank you, Lord, for today, and we thank you for Doug and how he's come to our rescue once again. And Lord, let it be that we will all be in your will, and all will be done not just expeditiously, but in a lovely uh, spiritual fashion. Thank you, Lord, for the training you have given us. We thank you that we can sing your praises. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay, now here is the exercise. Okay, all together. Ah, okay, good. Now we're going to take part of that and we're going to sing a little bit on syllables. Okay, let's go back to A again. So, do, mi, sol, do. Ready? Do, mi, sol, do. Back down to do. Do. Okay, again. Let's do, mi, sol, do. Ti, do, re, do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Okay, ti, do. Here we go. Do, mi, sol, do. Ti, do, re, do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Sing sol. Sol. Sing high do. Do. Sing mi. Mi. Fa. Fa. Re. Re. High do. Do. Low do. Do. Okay. How many can do that for an A for the day? Okay. Very good. All the hands went up. Now I want you to do this for me. We practice a little bit. We get ourselves all warmed up and whatever. But also, I'm having a great time with this. I hope someone else is. Now look at your solfege. Okay. Now here is the alto part to Carol of the Drum. Every single chorus in that sings these notes. All right. Now, who can sing me? I bet I can. Me. Did you do it? Okay. Now let's start there and let's sing the alto part on syllables. Now I hope that you are able to get it. Doug, maybe I did this wrong. Can you hold this up and they could take a picture of it in case they didn't get it? I tried it, but I don't know if they got it. Maybe I held it too close. Oh, you have to hold it further away? Okay. I held it right up against it. Okay, take a picture if you don't have it. Okay, good. Thanks, Doug. All right. All right. Now we're going to sing. Who can sing me? This is the thing about it's so beautiful. We have a culture, English, this is English and whatever. Okay, so we've gone and done this system of music where we have whole steps and then we have two half steps. Now, we don't even think about it, but they're there. And where are they between? Mi and fa, and between ti and do. We don't think about it. The rest of it, we take the step. Now, if you were in some other country, they have steps of thirds between their various notes. It's like from do to re, we'd have to take an extra step besides just the half step. So they have a third step. Our ears aren't trained that well, but we can do this thing. We can do it easily. Okay, now what we're going to do is sing this. I wish I could hear you. You can hear me to see if I do it right, okay? Who sings me? Somebody sing me. Okay, I bet it's here. Let me check myself. Wow! Now that's the other part of it. The brain will remember this. Now I'm saying this, uh, we're going to be doing this with the orchestra, but uh, it is written in a cappella, no orchestra. The reason I've done this, I wrote an arrangement of it because I wanted the drama of the little boy playing the drum along with us. This composer, Catherine K. Davis, tremendous composer, tremendous. And she has had so much to say. And composers don't think about half steps and whole steps. What they think about is what chord. Unfortunately for altos and tenors, you have to sing the harmony thing, and you have those little inter parts where things are added. But it's usually all right. But on this particular one, you have a lot of jumpings about. See, that gets in your mind. As a matter of fact, in the middle of the night, I'll go, gotta remember the first note. Okay, now we're going to do this. We're not going to use the piano. We're just going to do it. Okay, here at two beats in the measure, and we'll go. Here we go. Mi sol do 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 re sol re do. Mi sol do 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 re sol re do. Ti do re mi fa mi re do ti. Ti do re mi fa re ta la fa la so mi so fa mi so do re do sol be sol mi. I'll bet that's me. Yay! An A for the director. Now, how many did it? Raise your hands. I'll pretend I'm looking. Okay, I'll look over there. And I love this part. And I, I will tell you, I'll tell you that you'll never forget it. For the rest of your years, you'll be hearing that little ditty. Okay, now, having done that, let's point out the whole point of this. There is a little thing on the third line. I hope you have your solfege paper. Uh, we spent big money to get that to you. And it has a tricky little part here. That is on the third line, starting with the third measure. Do, re, starting on re. Now there's a little thing in there. Why did Catherine Davis do this? She's put a little bit. It's not part of do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. It's ta. And then there's jumpings about going here. And the sopranos don't have to jump about with their melody, but the poor altos do. Re, I know that's re because do is here. That's in my head. Re. Okay, it goes. Re, re, ta, la. Now here's the fun. You have a brain. God gave you a brain. God gave you pitch memory. And so you can apply this to any piece of music you're doing, especially a cappella things. You will remember that's in your ear. Re, re, ta, la. That note is in your ear. Now remember that because you're going to have to come back there. Fa, fa, la, sol. Mi, so, fa. Did you do that right, Mr. Harry? Yay! All right. You can sit at the head of the table. All right. Did you do it right? Okay, do, and all remember is do. Re. Now I want you to start on re, and I'm just going to say it while you sing it. Re, and you sing the syllables. Go. Re, re, ta, la. Remember la. Fa, fa, la. So. Mi, so. Fa. Okay, remember fa, whatever it was. All right. All right, let's go. Let's sing it now. I'll tell you what, let's sing it right from the beginning, and then we're going to listen to the tape and the disc, and we'll play it, and then you sing along with it, okay? Me, I know that's me. From the beginning, go. Me, so, do, 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 re, so, re, do. Mi, so, do, 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 re, do. Ti, do, re, mi, fa, mi, re, do, ti. Ti, do, re, mi, fa, re, la, ta, la. Fa, fa, la, so. Mi, so, fa. Mi, so, re, do. Sol, mi. Now, if I were going to be mean, I would say, can you sing it backwards? All right, no, you don't have to. Okay, now I want you to turn to your music. This is Carol the Drum number 4 in your folder, okay? If you don't have it, make sure you send me a little note here that you don't have them, you never got it or something, whatever. If you're just new today, uh, great, great. We need everybody. And we'll send you the music and the whole thing, okay? Um, Phil, did you get your music? Let me know. You can type it in and send me a message on the chat thing if you got that, okay? Good. All right, let me find it on the disc and then we'll get started. This is number 4, Carol of the Drum. Oh boy, I hope this works. Play. Oh, go. Skip. Forward skip. Okay. Okay, there we go. I'll sing the alto part. Working to see pa-ra-pa-pum-pum. Our finest gifts will bring pa-ra-pa-pum-pum. To lay before the king, pa-ra-pa-pa-pa. So, mi, so, fa. Mi, so, do, 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 do. Okay, I got mixed up. Okay, all right. Now I'm going to get my music out, and we'll start on the second verse. Okay. All right. I'm having a ball. I hope you are. Did we get a note? Uh, yes, I did it. Okay, someone said. Oh, Phil didn't get us. I'm sorry, Phil. I sent it out, and the whatever. So I'm sorry about that. We'll just have to be more diligent. We did send it. Okay. All right, let's go. Carol drum, Carol drum, Carol drum. Okay. Okay. All right, good. Okay, now we're going to start on page 6. Okay. All right. So I'll just where it stopped. It'll be exactly where it was. Baby Yezu. Okay. Play, play, play. Baby Yezu. Ba-ra-pa-pum-pum. Uh, I want to bring pa-ra-pa-pum-pum. That's fit to give a king pa-ra-pa-pum-pum. Ra-pa-pum-pum. Ra-pa-pum-pum. Shall I play for you pa-ra-pa-pum-pum on my drum? Mary nodded pa-ra-pa-pum-pum. Ox and asket tuck pa-ra-pa-pum-pum. I played my drum for him pa-ra-pa-pum-pum. I played my best for it pa-ra-pa-pum-pum. Ra-pa-pum-pum. Ra-pa-pum-pum. You smile at me pa-ra-pa-pum-pum. Me and my drum. That's it. We're stopping. Right there. Okay. Now, having said all that, forget it. What? Yeah, forget all that. Because now it's ingrained on your brain. You'll never forget. You don't need to worry about it. Okay, now let's talk about the composer. We have actually 3 women composers. I hate to think in categories like that. You know, we have these many of that ethnicity, and we have all it goes like this. No, no, no. Everybody's a musician in this case, and these are the 3 wonderful musicians that have composed. And Herring, Easter Song, and in the last days, that was oh boy, her name escapes me right now. Okay, but at any rate, yeah, Janet Hutchinson. So they wrote these things, and they don't think in terms of do re mi fa sol la ti do. They don't think that way. They write what the Lord tells them to write, and so they do it. It's a very wonderful spiritual experience, aesthetic, spiritual, every way. So now, what is the purpose of the whole piece? Why did we use it? Why are we using it? What does that have to do with anything? Well, it fits. We're taking the gospel story. We're taking the whole thing, and we're going through, and we're fitting it. And so this particular piece is beautiful a cappella. And the reason for different things that are happening in it, uh, reason we have it, is so that can you wait just a second? I had to answer the phone, and it was Washington D.C. I think they want an opinion or something, and so I'm not going to give that, especially now. So, at any rate, when Miss Hutchinson wrote this, or Catherine Davis wrote it, uh, she's thinking in terms of a couple things. She wants the men to have the drum part, and to go all the way through doing the drum part. And so she's very particular about accents. And another reason for this is kind of mundane one. We're going to get a drummer boy. I don't care how young he is. If he can walk, he can be the drummer boy. I want someone young, very young. Okay, so he's not going to be able to read music, much less care. But I want him to be beating on his drums. And what happens is all he has to do is follow what you men are doing. And then it becomes secondary whether or not he's had drum lessons or whatever. So he'll have a little toy drum around his neck, and so he's beating it along with you. Now, I hate to spend so much time on this little piece, but it's important to understand what is in a composer's mind. I've done a little composing, mostly arranging, but some composing, and you're thinking of the text. You're thinking of the meaning of the music, where what do you want to do, and how to get there. And I won't go into all that, but it's a beautiful experience. It's maybe not good, may not turn out well, but at least you were able to capture on paper or now on your computer um, what's in your mind, and hopefully it's something worthwhile. Whether it gets published or not is completely another matter. It's a matter of putting down what is your heart. Okay, so now let's see what the men's parts are like. And again, we'll go through it again, and we'll see where we have some interest. Okay, now look at it. Everybody, you're going to be a tenor now. Everyone's going to be a tenor. Whether you're a bass, alto, soprano, doesn't matter. You're going to be a tenor. Now, and speaking, one of the nice things is the tenor part is always written in a treble clef, but it actually should have two treble clefs there to indicate it was a octave lower. Okay, but tenors know that. So we're going to go all the way through on the third line rather than the second line, and I want you to do syllables. Now you're going to find out there are only two syllables. There's a sol and there's a do. I bet that's an E. Bum, 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 bum. I'll bet it is. I'm a little bit flat. Okay. All right. So you go sol, do, sol, do, sol, do, sol. And it gets a little bit boring, but that's the idea. That's all there is to it. Okay. Now, but the reason I want you to do it is I want you to follow the dynamics from the beginning. Okay. Now, if I go back over here, Charmaine is indisposed right now, so I'm going to go to the piano and pound it out. It's not a matter of syllables. It's a matter of paying attention to details. Okay? Now, from the beginning, everybody, wherever you are, we're going to do the alto part. Now, you can, sopranos, you can take the upper octave, as can the alto. Okay, ready? Ready, beginning, go. Prum, 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 now, notice something. At the bottom or the top of page 5, the composer, Catherine Davis, adds an accent. So let's do the accent, okay? Go. Prum, 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 prum. Back to the 14. Prum, prum, prum. Page 6. Prum, decrescendo, piano, accent, prum, 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 prum. Okay, now starting at the bottom of page 3, the well, we're belaboring that thing. We'll just say this. We're going to go through the whole piece again, and this time I'll sing on the tenor part. Okay? Here we go. Oh boy. Okay, now let's back skip. Okay, forward. Okay, all right. Play. Pum, 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 pum. Page 5. Pum. Accent. Pum. 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 Accent. Pum. Even though it's soft. Pum. 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 Accent. M for sopranos and altos. Say the M. Pum, 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 pum. That's it. Okay. And then to carry this little expression all the way through, forget what I just told you. The most important thing is the presentation. You are the little boy. You are the little boy. Notice the pronoun. Come, they told me. So what's going to happen is, in costume, the mother is going to bring the little boy to a position on a platform somewhere near the percussion part of the orchestra. So he'll be able to be seen. And he'll be turned 45 degrees toward the choir, and behind the choir on the screen will be a star in the sky. We're representing the nativity scene, and rather than having the full nativity, we're just going to have a star. Okay, and so this is the little boy speaking. That's a forte. She wants you to sing it out because what she wants everybody to know is it's a celebratory thing that's going on here, and we need to celebrate, and we're going to bring presents, and we're going to bring and so the little boy is watching all this, and then we get to page 6, and a lot of you know this, but get it inside, learn the accents, learn the rhythms, learn the alto part, da da da. See that? You'll never forget that, and you'll have that automatically so you can consider what's going on here. Now notice that the composer, when it starts, it's in quotes, and baby Yesu, to put a Y there, it can be pronounced different, the name is different pronunciations, but it's Yesu as done traditionally. Y, okay. Pa-ruppa-pum-pum. And by the way, every time you have ruppa-pum-pum, hit the first syllable and then close to an M. Ladies, every time, each single time, go to M, especially at the end. Keep doing M. Breathe when you want, doesn't matter. It lasts for a whole page, but just keep it going until you see the cutoff. All right. So now the little boy talks, as it were, through you. You are the little boy. You are. Okay. And so you have to change personality. As though you went off stage and you're back again. This time you're the little boy himself confronting and talking to the baby. Now, notice he's talking to the baby, not to Mary, not to the adults. He's talking to the baby. So it's a very, very delightful. I love all these pieces. You see, when I taught, and I missed that tremendously, having 45 minutes to talk about these things, just talk about it. And so this is one of those talking points. And I decided that, okay, we'll talk about this because it goes through the other pieces. All the other three we're going to do, we'll do this real fast. But this was the main idea. You are a choir, you see, is an integral part of the acting, of the plot. And so you don't have to pretend you're a little boy with your voice, but if the music tells you, indicates to you to do softly or to take the part of the boy, you don't get a baby voice, but it's different. It's a little different. And it's how you would speak to a child before you put her to bed, put him to bed. Okay, it's a very intimate way of speaking, a way of singing. Okay, you're not singing to 1,600 people who will be there at the concert, but you're speaking to one baby. Think of it. Think about what you're going to do. You're not going to shout in its ear. It's different. It's different from mezzo forte to piano. It's completely different. That's all that music will allow us. We have to get it in our hearts and souls how that we are to present a personality, yours and the person to whom you're speaking. All right, so notice, you know all these things. This is a simple little piece. And then we get down to the bottom of page 9. And again, I ask for your forgiveness, Phil, for not having the music in front of you, but you know this piece already, so you just forgive me for that. Okay. Mary added, Mary nodded. Okay, now this, you don't have to go back and forth and be Mary now, but now you're the little boy actually. And so you're just simply helping him, and the men become extremely important. And you are doing the drum part. You are the drums. If you were doing it a cappella, you'd be the drums. So pay strict attention to basses when you have the triplet figure later on, and then the tenors have it back and forth. So you're going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth on the thing. But still, that's on page 12 at the bottom. And so finally, it goes very, very, very soft and gets softer and softer. So there's this beautiful, beautiful, poignant ending. A little piece that lasts 2 minutes, 3 minutes at the most. And so much has been said in that. And so, I go through my mind, should we have applause before, after numbers, or should we just go on? There's sometimes we need to find a way to not have applause without saying it. Just go right on to the next thing, like you're watching a movie or something. But I'm going to tell you, having said all this today, you're going to see the beauty and hear the beauty of people responding and to the little boy who gave his gift. And so we have to figure out ways. Karen Muir is our stage director, and so ways of finding, okay, now he will acknowledge that it was accepted by the family, and then also by the people, and then his mother will escort him off. And I don't think there'll be a dry eye in the place, especially if you, the choir, understands what you're doing. So another thing, I've been watching the concert of 2018, and there's a lot of good things in there, but there's some things that really we need to correct ourselves. Uh, you should be standing erect, and you'll be able to sit down whenever. There'll be many places during the concert you have sit down chairs on the risers. So I understand people get tired, but when you're seated, even I want the back straight. I want their music up, and be uniform that way, and do all the things that good choir members do. Okay, but so it has much more to do than black notes on white paper. I hope I got through to you with all that. All right, having said all that, let's go to number 3 and see if we can apply some of this to whatever. Uh, the the every one of these pieces I love. That's the nice thing about having a choir. You have the responsibility. You're accountable. All right. If your audience goes to sleep, you're accountable. If they're rocked out of their chairs, you're accountable. If hearts are touched and there are tears in the eyes, uh, then you've done something, and I guess you're appreciated. But every one of these pieces I like it to say it's like a necklace that ladies wear, but each one of you has, it's not just pearls, but there's a pearl, and then it's next to a ruby, next to an emerald, and on it goes like this all the way around. They're all different, but it's one necklace, one concert with a bunch of gems. And that's what this is. Now, the gems are, if they're noticed, that's not it. It's the whole beauty of the necklace and the meaning. So who gave her, the lady, that necklace? Who gave the audience that necklace? Well, it's you who've done so. All right. Now, before we have Mary had a baby. Now, before you do that, take a look at number 2. All right. And that's Holy, Holy, Holy. Now, um, I'll play this along for you. Charmaine is indisposed right now. And I'll just play the ending of that. And then I want you to find the first notes, especially sopranos, because you have the next note. So after we have sung 4 verses of Holy, 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 and the last verse is done with everyone singing melody except the sopranos. Uh, they have an obligato on the end, so they don't end on that same note, but the rest of you go Blessed Trinity. Let's see if I can find that. Okay, now I'm saying I lied. Go back to number 2. Okay, now we have the last. It would be the last 2 measures. Now, as I said before, I'll run back here. As I said before, pitch memory. See, all of this was not just something to do, but I'm showing you that the Lord put in your head pitch memory. Okay, so you're going to know, that's a note. So when you get there, you're singing the words, but you're also remembering that note. Blessed Trinity. But what is it? Do. That's a movable do, so it's do. Here. Do, re, mi, fa. So write fa there, F-A. Okay, so everybody, that is alto, tenor, and bass, will be singing melody. Da, 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 bum, The soprano's last note will be do. You're up there. Do. Okay, that's your last note. So it's a little hard to go da 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 da. That's where your first note is of number 4. Number 3. Okay, here you go. Now it's fine. Blessed Trinity. All right, go. Go. Blessed Trinity. Blessed Trinity. Now I want you to think of fa. That's do. Do, re, mi, fa. Okay? And that's your first note, sopranos. Let's see if I'm right. Got it? This is a cappella. So while the people are responding, and we'll allow them to applaud this time. Okay, good. So while they're doing that, I want you to pass along the soprano note. Do it, everybody, quietly and get to it. Blessed Trinity. That's the soprano note. Okay? You got it? All right, good. Now let's do it. This is number 4 or number 3. Okay, so now we're actually going to do Mary Had a Baby. Number 3. Okay, start. My Lord, Mary had a tenors. Oh, Mary had a baby. In a manger, where was he born? Born in the manger. Oh, Mary had a baby. Born in the altos. Soprano melody. Watch now. King Jesus. King Jesus. Crescendo to fortissimo. He is called King Jesus, mighty counselor, King Emmanuel, rising God, everlasting soprano. One, two. Okay. This is one of my favorites. It's all my favorite. We've done this before, but it'll be a cappella. Be sure that you go through the thing. There's the soprano soloist throughout. Um, I love the comment one of the students made, uh, and it really meant a lot to me uh, when I was teaching, that uh, everybody knew the pieces so well. See, we would work 4 months on 4 pieces. That's all. How in the world do you fill up 45 minutes a day working on 4 numbers? Well, you could do that easily. There's so much to talk about. Then we have to remember, and I'll preach to you a little bit, but that you have to be free to do a new thing. It is new. It is not repetition of what happened in the rehearsal, of what you heard on a disc, of a record, what you heard some famous choir do, or whatever. It is none of that. It isn't even what you did. It is a new experience. This is what makes music so wonderful. It's a new painting, as it were, a musical painting every single time you do it. And the young girl's comment, she said that uh, we we were doing a number completely different at the concert. Not so much as faster or slower, but the nuances. A little crescendo here, a little crescendo there. I like to pretend people are following me. Uh, I get that in my mind. Well, they'll understand this, but I'm not really doing it for any reason. It's just what I'm feeling right then. And when you get your own choir, then you can do that. And if they really know and are watching and are not holding their music down like this and looking up every 5 pages, oh yeah, yeah, we're on the last verse, that sort of thing. But if they're actually watching, it's not such a big deal that you are as the director. It's you're responsible for what that performance is. Okay, so I like to just use, and when I direct the acapella thing, I won't have a baton. So if there's a little bit of a movement, I just feel at least you can have a little crescendo here or a little less here or something. It shouldn't have to be big, that sort of thing, or hey, how about it? No, just little things, little things. And then I like to give cutoffs. I love to direct beginnings and endings and middles, everything. Oh, here's the beginning, boom, and the middle little thing like this, or maybe just the basses. Now, that's if you're in the quartet system, it's basses were here, and then the sopranos were there, and the altos and tenors were here, whatever. And so whatever. And so I just look at them and say a little bit more here, a little bit more. Just come on. And it's not because I'm trying to do something uh, to make you do it. Look how they're responding. No, it's you and I are performers. We are like the old Testament Levites, the whole tribe that had no inheritance whatsoever. There no land. They didn't have land. They had cities, but the cities were there for reasons. The refuge places for people who are in trouble and that sort of thing. But they were the ones who were responsible for the worship, um, and they were responsible for the music and whatever. And so their inheritance was God. Actually, the firstborn of each family was the one who received the inheritance. The firstborn, a firstborn male, as a matter of fact. But the the word says that the Levites will be God's firstborn in the sense of what they inherit is Him. So I believe in that completely, but in a little small way, that uh, I love these pieces so much that there might be something that tugs on my heartstrings that I just like a little bit more, a little bit more. If so, if you're watching, it's not that you have to do what I'm doing. It's that you want to be a part of that experience. So together we will feel that. If you want to have a different experience, then start your own choir. Okay. All right. Good. Okay. And of course, we've talked about this before about how many things are happening in here. Just a million things. I will make this one change, if you would. On page 4, uh, the tenors, third measure. I'd like you to sing the upper octave for that one measure. I think that's a little bit low for. I think I'd love to have the basses by themselves if I had 25 basses, but I don't. Then just sing along at the octave, okay? So all it is okay. On page 4, third measure, the way it's written is okay. It sounds a bit somber to me. I'm not taking issue with the composer, who again, William L. Dawson, magnificent writer, magnificent. But I just feel it should be amplified. It is anyway. See, this is what I do. I get into discussions with myself and then I force it on somebody. But it's part of the overtone series. It's already there, that note that I'm talking about. This note here, if you listen closely to the piano, you can hear, and Phil, you would know all about this, it's actually ringing in the air, this note. It's already there, this is there, and this one. All those notes, and then it goes on up. It's all there. All these are called partials. They're already there. So all I'm going to want you to do is just kind of amplify by going up there. Where was he born? You don't have to be loud necessarily because the bass is predominant. Just a little bit. Where was he born? Then you go switch tenors. Born in a manger. That's mezzo piano. Then basses only. Altos and sopranos. I can talk about these pieces forever and ever and ever. There's so much there. These composers are so great and they know what they want, and we need to make sure we do what they want and then ignore them when we have saturated ourselves with the original. And if you feel that something needed to be done with it to fit the choir's personality and the whole situation. It's beautiful. I don't know. I think one of the hardest things about this COVID-19 thing is, besides the fact you have masks, is that communication. And you don't see faces, you don't see expressions, you don't see smiles. Um, and live performance is, I just guess everybody pray that we'll be able to do this. Not just for us, but we'll be able to bring sanity back. We're not talking about politics. We're talking about people things. And one thing we need to be in our houses of worship. We need to be around family. We need to be in choirs. They're marvelous what they're doing. That they're and some of you have shown me. Bob Rossetti was telling me and sent the email to me. It was great, great. And they're all in little blocks. I don't know, called they Zoom or whatever. Is that what it's called, Doug? Mm-hmm. Okay, a Zoom. And so everybody was singing together, and they had earphones, and they were able to hear one another or whatever, and it was good. But I'm talking about a choir, and even they who were able to do this, and maybe your church does also. It's the missing element is elbow to elbow with singers and with fellow uh, believers and experiencing the aesthetic and the spiritual together and doing what you're supposed to be doing. And so that's the part that needs to come back, and we do. I don't know. I'm just beginning. And here we are, Pastor Nar. And it's just, I got to tell you this now. Some people are saying, "Well, are you going to do this? Are you going to do that?" And well, but nobody knows the future. I don't know. I may cack off tomorrow. I don't know. Who knows? But the point is, we need to plan ahead. Now, let me tell you something. I think this is fun. You take a little time to listen to this. We've been talking about advertising. How do we do this? And Karen Muir came up with the idea. There's um, Facebook, Doug, and they have a events calendar or something there, and whatever. And you can actually send if you get on it, and then you can actually put anything you want, video, anything you want. So that'd be a tremendous way to get through uh, to millions of people. I mean, that's something. Okay, that's fine. Okay, and so we're pursuing that. And our ticket company, we have a ticket company this time, and so it's Bomb Associates, and we have the number and the whole way to contact them. And so we'll have it on our page, and so people will have that. And then so, but starting after Easter, Easter is April 4th this year, and we're going to start with a poster. Oh, big deal poster. Now, let me tell you where this poster is. They have a marquee, actually four marquees outside of Carnegie Hall. Perhaps you notice them or haven't noticed them, but if you drive along Forbes Avenue and are just across from the concert hall, and you'll see these. Let me tell you the dimensions of the thing. 39 and a half inches wide. That's a yard, isn't it? It's more than a yard, Doug? Okay. And then it's 80 inches high. That would be 3 yards? Yeah. Okay, about 3 yards high. And the only provision you have to do is you have to make it 3/16 deep. It has to be able to stand in itself. Well, we looked into this thing, and there's uh, it's called Minuteman Press. Perhaps some of you have used them. They will do things like that. What they have to do, they have to put the poster, they build the poster, do the whole thing, and then paste it onto a foam board. You learn all kinds of things, when you go through this. See, it's a foam board. Okay, so there. But you can't roll it up. You can't. It's fixed. And if you and from Texas here in Dallas, if you were to mail it, be prohibitive because they'd have to crate it so it won't be damaged, and then they'd have to send it by I don't know, obviously by plane, but it'd be tremendous cost and all that sort of thing. Okay, but we're looking into all this. So we could put anything on our poster board whenever we want. So after Easter, we're going to put this thing up and it's going to be outside the board. Now we can put anything if you have any ideas of what message we'd use the thing, but we put it there so everybody driving by, hundreds, thousands of people driving by, would see this for April, May, and June. Okay, so we received a beautiful donation to Royal Way, and we're going to be able to do this. It's not much at all. It's $180, something like that, to build the whole thing. But to ship it from Texas to Pittsburgh would cost a tremendous amount of money. Okay, but then the fellow here got the phone number of a Minuteman Press in Pittsburgh. It's on the south side. I guess you would go across the Monongahela River. I know exactly where place is. And before you go through the Liberty Tubes or whatever that is down there, then you go down there and there's the Minuteman Press. So we called them. Okay. So they will do it and they will ship it free to Carnegie Hall. So I, in other words, we're planning. We're going to do this thing, and we're going to have it without masks, and we're going to be elbow to elbow, and we're going to have 1,600 people there, at least, if not standing room only. Right now, it's awful. It's awful the amount of people that are allowed to be in the building, but we're praying that that will change. Okay? So I thought I'd tell you about that because this is going to be an exciting event and it's going to be spontaneous and everybody's going to enjoy it. They're going to have a good time and they're going to get the message also. All right. If you have a comment about any of that stuff, someone lost their audio, Doug. My speakers are on and working for other apps. Oh, wait, no, that was Phil. Okay, no, he's all right now.
Okay.
If you need someone to pick up that sign and take it. Okay, so Marlene has volunteered to pick that up. I think we're going to be all right with that, Marlene. I think what we have to do is the people at Carnegie Hall, all they need to do is be informed that it's coming, and then they will have people there. They have a whole staff that will take it up. But that's what I thought. If you had even a van or an open truck, that you could put this in, that would be fine. But they're going to do it, and I think we'll work it that way. But thank you for that. You see, she's seeing the vision of what's going on here. The Lord is showing us that we can do this, and we are going to do it, and we'll go over all these obstacles like the computer. Since what? How is that, Doug? Since the beginning of the year, they changed everything over on these
On
things.
this, they just had to we had to re-up it. We had to change everything. The link that links the video output to Twitch changed.
See, everything changed at the beginning of the year. So Doug came in here and he worked for a good half hour, 45 minutes working it out. So, um, these things are going to happen and it's going to be fine. Okay, good. All right, let's go to the next one. Number 10. See, I'm dangerous in the classroom. The bells were always ringing too soon. There's more to talk about. Okay, a legend. Now, let me tell you about this. This is on number, see, I lied again. Go to number 9B. Now, these are two dance numbers, which we went over the last time. That was back in October. And but at any rate, uh, we are thinking of singing along with it. It's quite extraneous, really, and if we don't have time to get it done well, then we won't. But the last note of the orchestra is an E. Okay, that's important to remember. This again, pitch memory. Okay, so on a legend, I'll turn to that. Just remember, it's an E. I'll play the E. The first note, although this is going to be, it says piano only for orchestra. In other words, it's written a cappella. Peter Ilyich Tchaikovsky wrote this a cappella, no orchestra. And I'm taking liberties. There's going to be a string orchestra muted. They'll have mutes on their bridges, and so the whole sound is one of mute is actually the best word, but it gives a different tone to the strings. So those of you who do play violins or whatever, you understand what I'm saying about. So it's a different thing. It gives a lovely, lush, mellow sound. I'm searching for adjectives, but it's really that's what it is. It's a mellow sound. Okay, now they're going to play at the very beginning. There's no introduction. Boom, right from that. So you have to have pitch memory following the dance. Now everybody's going to be applauding for the dancers. You have plenty of time to get yourself remembering the last note. The trick is remembering how to get to your note. Basses and sopranos have that note. Okay? You have the last note. Okay, this is it of the dance. Okay, E. Now, in this case, the piece is in minor. Do. Okay, so this is do. Christ when a child, a garden made. Okay, so it's minor a little bit. That we have to change the solfege a little bit. Okay, now the tenors are up to the fifth. Do re mi fa sol. Christ when a child. Da 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 ba. The dancers get applauded, and you're thinking da da da. So you think that. All right, good. Now the altos have a third, the minor third. Da da da. What do we say? Tenors. Da 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 da. Christ when a child. Okay, you're at the fifth. You're the sol, and the altos are the minor third. Christ, da da da. Christ when a child of garden made. Again, altos. You always have something you have to fit into the chord. Okay, so it's your chordal people. I think it's a lot of fun to sing alto or tenor because you always have you're picking up the chord, and the bass part is pretty standard with the chord changes, and the soprano melody is usually um, it makes sense melodically. Okay, so this is bum bum. Basses are here. Da 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 da. Tenors are there. And altos are here. I get do, re, mi. I guess would that be ma? I don't know. Da 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 da. Okay, here's the last note. Ba ba ba. Now think. What's your next note? You're going to start on it. Okay, tenors. Christ when a child. Okay, last note. Okay, altos. Think. Okay, here we go. Christ when a child. Okay, you got that? Sopranos, basses, tenors, da da da, altos. You got it? Okay. All right. Now let me play it along here just to make sure you have it in your head. Pitch memory. Okay, number 10. Okay. Number 10. Get my time.
Oh, you're fine.
You all right? Okay. All right. I want to do more than I have to. Okay. Okay. Now everyone is just going to sing on ah. Just sing on ah when it's your turn. Okay. Here's the dance. Okay. Go on. Now. Did you get it? Okay. Let's do it again. Here's the dance. Okay. Now do the next pitch on ah. Go. Okay. Got it? All right. Let's do it with the tape. Okay. All right. Number 10. All right. Here we go. A garden made Okay, stop. Okay, all right. Now, if you're listening to your disc, I changed it. I put in an introduction for the orchestra. I was thinking, well, we need to get into this. And I'm thinking, what? We can do it. We can do it. So there'll be no introduction, although this has a four measure introduction. I forgot. Okay, so let's try this again. We'll ignore the first four measures. We'll pretend they're not there. Okay? Here we go. Oh, look one. Four. Okay, there we are. All right, four and play. Okay, the first four measures aren't there. All right, just ignore it. You can start. That's great. We're on the wrong one. Four, three, four. All right, now play. No, it's number 10. That's right. And some disorienting listening. Okay, this way. Okay, just ignore that. Okay, beginning. Christ when a child, a God and the maid, and many roses nourished them. Start softly. He watered them 3 times a day to make a garden for his head. Now, and when in time the roses bloom, he brought the children to share. They took the flowers from every stand and left the garden stripped and bare. Tenors! How with the song of throne, now that the roses are dead. The thorns are left for me, but Christ shall see. They planted them a crown of thorns, and laid in his hand. The bass, bass. Listen to the bass. And silence. That's it. Okay, stop. Okay, there's so much to that thing. Um, and I don't normally make a practice of memorizing the score because I don't think a director needs to show off his memory skills. The second is I'm old and I forget. But at any rate, uh, the there's so much that we need to think about in this thing. In here, again, the notes are secondary. They're important, all right, but we have a narrative. It's like a narrator. So you as a singer are not an alto, tenor, soprano, bass. That's not who you are. You are together being a personality. In this case, you're a narrator. Christ when a child, so as a narrator would say this story, okay? And then when we get to page 2, and you have your music there, 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth measure, and when in time, write smoothly, or if you want to be erudite, legato, Legato. The Italians, same thing, smoothly. Notice there are eighth notes throughout. And when in time the roses bloom, bass and on you go. It's all there, but it gives a clue what Tchaikovsky had in mind. Uh, is it stretching the imagination to think that he is portraying the roses blooming? I think so. And so in my direction, I would begin. As a matter of fact, I did it the last time. Now, what was all that? It's just something I do. No, it's the way I feel it now. I probably feel it then. And when in time, and I'll instruct the string players the same thing. I've written in the bowings for them so that I want a smooth bow. Da da dee da 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 dee da da. Nothing da 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 da. No, even if it's written so, I want it smooth. There's a way it's called a hook bow. Da 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 ba ba da da ba ba da da ba ba da da ba. Okay, maybe some of you don't know. I was a string bass major through my college days, and so stringed instruments interesting. At any rate, so this is one of the reasons I want them there. Okay, so you have this rose is blooming. You're still being a narrator. And then finally on page, well, not finally, but we're on page three. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Seventh bar. Notice what's happening. Everyone is subservient to the tenor part. Tenors circle that note. Ah, with the weave voice. Now, you are a mocker of the one who has planted this rose garden. There are no more roses. They're gone. They're stripped and bare. And so, how are you going to do this? I mean, you can't, you don't have to act it as though you're an actor in a movie, but there's a way of, if it's in your heart, if it's in your soul and your aesthetic self, you will know how to do it. Plus, I'll try to visual do a visual for you on how to do that thing. Uh, it's it's being defined. You are a different personality choir. And the tenors are more different. It sounds awful. The tenors are more different than everybody else. But in this case, I meant vocally. And you have the melody. How wilt thou weave? And you don't have to do any gyrations or anything. As a matter of fact, choirs that do that, I don't enjoy that. I love to have them do it just uh, normally. They're singing normally, but you can see it in their visage, especially if we take the masks off. You can see that they are what they're doing. And you can certainly hear, how wilt thou weave thyself? And everybody else, thyself a God. Now, everybody just kind of joins in the fun, as it were. And then we have finally on page four, you are the Christ child. Okay, now how was that done? Well, Tchaikovsky's done it for you. Let's just look what he's done. Ye have forgotten, da da da. And all the rhythms before that, um, there's he watered them 3 times a day. Um, Ye have forgotten. There's this thing, and that's the way I'll direct it. And if you're watching and you're thinking, you'll see an extension of the note itself. Ye have forgotten. And maybe I'll even give you an N. So over the years, I've developed, okay, now this is part of directing the middle of the word. You have forgotten. And if we're all watching, then you'll see where the N is. Okay. If there's a D, it'll get one of those guys. A T is more like that. Okay. Whatever. There's a way. Okay. We're doing it all together. We are all being the Christ chop. And so Tchaikovsky has written a different rhythm. You have forgotten that. It's a lovely, lovely moment. And in the face of this ridicule, this calmness has occurred through the music. We need to interpret it correctly. Okay? All right. Left for me, the Christ child said. The platted, that the pronunciation, as I understand it, is kind of a short A, platted. They planted then a crown of thorns And notice, meno moso. I listened to different versions and they go too slow on this. Meno, it just means a little less motion. That's all it means. Just a little less. But we don't know. Maybe in the performance on June the 18th, 2021, it'll be uh, will be take advantage of the acoustics of the hall or the fact that no babies are crying or they are crying or whatever. You don't know what the reason is. Whatever is in my heart, I suppose, or together, hopefully, we'll be able to understand how much slower it'll be. Not much, just a little bit. They planted then a crown of thorns and laid it rudely on his. Rudely! Put an accent over that. I'm sure to put an accent there. I'm sure it's not written, but you almost have to. The tenor is up on a high G. They can't be any less than rude when they go for the high G. Okay, but notice. Okay, here we go. A garland for his forehead made, and for roses drops of dry. And one thing else. Now we do have a full range of stringed instruments we've hired from Duquesne University. And so we'll have cellos, a cello, and a double bass. And they are going to supply those little tiny notes that are down there, the C basses, instead of blood instead. They're going to do that. The most important part of this, as far as I can read it, and what Tchaikovsky had in mind was he was emulating the idea of drops of blood. Drops of blood instead of blood instead. It goes down to the low E, which is the lowest note on the double bass. So it'll be very sonorous at that particular point. Okay? All right, good. Okay, we have one more. I hope everybody can hang in there. Turn to number 18. You have been so kind to be part of this. And remember, if for any reason you can't do this, Doug, we'll have the
We'll
YouTube.
Yes.
It'll be on YouTube also. I like it that we're all together here. And there are many more watching, by the way, now, Doug. I don't know if you knew this or not, but
Yep.
there are many more people than normal. I don't know if we have that written in here, how many live people. Anyway,
We'll see if I can find
so it's very, very good. I appreciate everybody doing this. And again, if you haven't, you don't have music or you can find your schedule has changed or something that you're able to, you can make a firm decision about June 18th. Good, do so. We want you. We want everybody to be in this. And so that's important. Okay, this is, oh, there's so many things. All right, in the last days. Now, this particular piece is, I think what I'll do, Doug.
Yeah, which name?
Um, could we get a chair back here? I think maybe I'll. Well, it's not all that important, I guess.
Sure.
Okay. Can we get past here?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Our usual piano player is unlimited. Thank you, sir. All right. Good. All right. Okay. Now I'm going to shout a little bit so you can hear. Let's see. Doug? Well, he's looking up how many people are watching. Okay. I'm going to pound away a little bit over here on your parts, okay? So this time we'll do parts from the piano, and then we'll do with the disc. Okay. All right. Now, is there a microphone? Oh, okay. So, can they hear me here?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Good. Okay. So this is where you come in now. In the last days. Ready? Go. In the last days. I'm sorry. Once again. In the last days. Perilous times will come. what's going on. Let's talk about it, then we'll listen with the disc, and then we'll be done. Okay. Um, just mark a couple of things down here because we've talked about, um, okay, these solfege. We talked about the meaning of this and whatever. This is a hard one to sing. This is difficult to um, to do for one who believes, because you have to take the part of unbelievers, and again, you don't have to be a uh, you don't have to be an actor and have a lot of props and be waving things and rioting and looting and all that stuff. You don't need any of that. You just you know, or used to know without the mask, you used to know when someone wasn't pleased with you. When my dad wasn't pleased with me, I knew it. There was something about his visage that I knew that, well, I better back off of this position. And so this, it's very noticeable if we all do it. Now, nothing could be worse. It would, okay, there are a number of reasons. First of all, a concert is a visual as well as an oral presentation. People are watching you. If not, well, why don't you send in a recording? Why don't you, or whatever? No, they're watching you. And they're not even watching the director. His back is turned to them, and they get tired of looking at his bald head anyway. So it's they're looking at you, and you're looking out at them, just referring to your music, not wedded to it. Now, in this case, you have to know who you are. Okay, so in the last days, this is, boy, I'm going to say Timothy, book of Timothy. I'll have to look up the scripture, but it's the whole thing, Paul's letter, and what's going to happen in the last days. And I won't get into a theological thing of what is the last days and when they are. I don't. No one knows, and we're not told. But still, we are to live our lives as though we know and though we are expecting. Okay, so all the words. Notice at letter A, there's nothing is spared. The writer, I believe it's the Apostle Paul, is describing what they're like. Covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers. These are not just dotted eighths and sixteenths. That's not what it is. It's covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers. And let the English language work for you. Lots of diction. Okay? That's another thing we can do. You can do it verbally. Use what you have. Ye have forgotten. Nice tonal consonant in. Da da da. Okay, now legend. Covetous boasters, proud blasphemers, disobedient to parents. I wasn't disobedient to my dad. No, no, no way. But this is what it could be happening, and maybe in some families it is, and maybe in our culture, maybe it is. We won't get into that, but we will understand what you're supposed to be thinking about. So they're not just black notes on white paper. You are being described by who you are. So it's a narrator, I suppose, but you are going to take that part. Um, just the technical thing. On measure 11, 12, 13, measure 13 selves. Uh, eliminate the L, just cross it out. We'll do it at the very end. Selves, not selves. That's a Pittsburghism. I was a Pittsburgher, so I know. Steel mill. I worked at the steel mill some summers when I was in Pittsburgh. Steel mill. Okay? So you go to L. No, here. It doesn't sound too good. Selves. So it's S-E, a small E. Selves. Okay, and I'll direct that. Okay, so you look at me. I look at my mouth and I go, okay, that's it. All right. Covetous boasters. Okay, and it goes on like this. Now, when we get to measure 37, and surprise, you can practice that now. On awe, are you singing awe? Why? in the middle of all this doing ah. Well, you're mocking. You're the head mocker, as it were. Ah, you're making fun. You're doing your money. So I'll be directing you on that thing. In the last days, okay. Um, and it comes in every once in a while on page 5. That thing, okay. The same thing. It's not just meant to be a note. It's a nice little frilly icing on the top. You do it with all your gusto. Okay. At the very end, the altos have a wonderful ninth of a chord, A natural. So if you're practicing it or listening to it, listen for that little clash between the tenor and the alto. Okay? So be listening for that. It's important. Now, why? The composer, again, a woman, Janet Hutchinson, wonderful, wonderful. This is a piece, part of a piece that we did. A lot of you old timers with me, we sang this at Heinz Hall. Um, Boy, back in the 70s. And so we were spreading the word. We had really no idea what we were talking about. But it was just pretty music and it was done well. And I remember the orchestra was in the pit there, and the orchestra pit and whatever. So, but now I believe we're uh, my personal belief is that we need to get this message out now. All right. So, at any rate, let's listen to it and sing it, and we'll be done. Okay? Let me find 18, and I'll be right with you. This is at number 18. You got it? Uh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. Play. Okay, 17. Okay, now one more thing. We'll be done by supper. No, no, I just had to throw one more thing in here. The most important musical element of this whole piece is the bass part. It's the We'll have a tuba, we'll have the double bass, we'll have a bassoon, a trombone, all playing this boom, 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 boom. I believe the term is passacaglia. I might be wrong, but it's a thing that comes back. It's in between. You have a lot of things happening, and it comes back to that thing every once in a while. The main theme. It's a I might be using the wrong term, but anyway, it's a underlying uh, musical expression all the way through there. So it sets up the mood of the militancy of these words. Okay, you understand? So let's go start again. the last days, perilous times shall come. Men shall be lovers of themselves. Men shall be lovers of themselves. Ladies, covetous boasters, proud blasphemers, disobedient to parents. Men join. Covetous boasters, proud blasphemers, disobedient to parents. Everybody, covetous boasters, proud blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unfaithful, unholy, with unnatural affection. Ladies, true speakers, false accusers, incontinent men start to harm the pleasures of those which are true. Here's that sound. Listen to the bass. There it is again. Men shall be lovers of themselves. Men shall be lovers of themselves. Ladies, minded lovers of pleasure more than lovers of God. Men join. Any high-minded lovers of pleasure more than lovers of God. Train-headed, high-minded lovers of pleasure more than lovers of God. Having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. Ever learning and ever able to come to the knowledge of the truth. Ever learning and ever able to the knowledge. Yeah. Here comes that bass again. The F. Men shall be lovers of themselves. Men shall be lovers of themselves. In the last days, in the last days, in the days. Okay? Okay. Yeah. And see, everything we talked about today is transferable to every one of the numbers, every one of the gems of the necklace. And so it's just a matter of getting into each piece and being able to make ourselves the personality we should be, the choir personality. And so it's a thing I'm very, very proud about, that it's possible for mere mortals to bind together in love and doing things. Not just as a matter of course, okay, let's all work together. No, it's I have a purpose for being, and then a purpose for being together and doing it. Good. Doug?
Yes, sir.
Would you lead us in prayer before
I will.
we go?
Okay.
Good.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us together to fellowship through your songs. Be with us and guide us and bless us as we go into this week, and be with us and allow us to shine your light and be the leaders and disciples that we are called to be. And be with those that are sick and in need during this time, and be with our frontline workers as they protect us all from this horrible situation we're in. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, everybody. God bless you. The next rehearsal will be February 20. Make sure. February 20. 20, okay? Good. And if you had trouble with anything, you didn't get through or whatever, let us know. And Doug is such a nice person. He'll help you. Okay. All right.
Good.